Are the Vastu principles of the Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere the same or different? Let's find out in detail in today's video. The Northern Hemisphere refers to the countries located above the Earth's equator, such as India, the United States, and the countries of Europe. The Southern Hemisphere, on the other hand, includes countries located below the equator, such as Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Mauritius, and South American countries like Argentina and the southern part of Brazil. In the Northern Hemisphere, the sun rises in the east, travels through the south, and sets in the west, something you can clearly observe during winter. Now, take a look at an applied Vastu grid plan designed for the Northern Hemisphere. In this system, the north direction is considered the water zone or water element, while the south and southeast corners are considered the fire zones or fire element. But why is the north associated with water and the south and southeast associated with fire? This is because the Vastu Purusha Mandala, which includes 45 deities and demons, is designed entirely based on the sun's path. As mentioned in the Sanskrit verse from Vastu Shastra,
Uttaram dakshinam chaiva dakshinam cha uttaram tatha Shuryapathe viniridishte Vastu Shastram tatha annatha.
This means the spatial layout of Vastu is determined according to the sun's trajectory or sun path. Since in the Northern Hemisphere the sun rises in the east, moves through the south, and sets in the west, and since sunlight falls more directly to the south compared to the north, the southern side becomes hotter. Hence, the south and southeast are considered fire zones or fire element, and the north is considered a water zone or water element. Now coming to the Southern Hemisphere, which includes Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Mauritius, and South American countries like Argentina and the southern part of Brazil, here too, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, but it passes through the north, which you can clearly observe during winter. In the Southern Hemisphere, since the sun's rays fall more directly to the north, the northern side becomes hotter compared to the south. As a result, in the Southern Hemisphere, the north and northeast are treated as fire zones or fire element, and the south becomes the water zone or water element. So, as you can now understand, the Vastu principles for the Southern Hemisphere are a mirror of the Northern Hemisphere. You'll be amazed to know how scientific Vastu Shastra is, and how advanced the sages of ancient times were. To determine the correct sun path or trajectory of the sun, they used a cone, just like how mathematicians in Egypt used a cone to measure the accurate height of pyramids. In ancient times, the sages would draw a circle equal in height to the cone and place the cone in the center of that circle. At that time, how directions were determined is described in the Sanskrit verse of the Vastu Shastra book Mayamtam.
Shankadigana manena tanmadhe mandalam likhet purva paraho rayos chhaya yadi tan mandala yantaga.
This means the shadow cast by the cone at the time of sunrise points to the west, and the shadow cast at sunset points to the east. This clearly indicates that the Padvinya system of Vastu Shastra is entirely based on the sun's trajectory or sun path. So from the earlier discussion, you have now understood that the Vastu principles in the Southern Hemisphere are completely different. For your better understanding, we are placing two plans side by side. One is a grid of the Northern Hemisphere plan, and the other is a grid of the Southern Hemisphere plan. In the AppliedVastu Chakra for the Southern Hemisphere, the inner directions mentioned are based on the Northern Hemisphere, and the outer directions are for the Southern Hemisphere. Observe that in the grid of the Southern Hemisphere plan, the east and west directions remain the same because, in both hemispheres, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. However, the north direction in the Southern Hemisphere becomes the south direction. The north of northeast corner turns into the south of southeast corner, and the northeast corner becomes the southeast corner. That means, if you are in any country in the Southern Hemisphere and want to build a kitchen, you should build it in the direction that the regular compass or Northern Hemisphere compass shows as northeast, because in the Southern Hemisphere, the northeast corner becomes the southeast corner. And in Vishwakarma Prakash, a text of Vastu Shastra, it is stated,
Agniyam Paka Shadanam,
which means the kitchen should be in the southeast corner. Again, observe that the southeast corner of the Southern Hemisphere becomes the northeast corner. The northeast corner is the ideal place for the prayer room. About this, Vishwakarma Prakash says,
Ishannam Devotagyeham,
which means the prayer room should be in the northeast corner. So now you can understand, if you mistakenly construct a kitchen in the southeast corner according to the regular or northern hemisphere compass while being in the southern hemisphere, you are actually building the kitchen in the northeast corner, which is considered highly inauspicious. To determine the correct direction, you can use the AppliedVastu Compass application, which is available on the Google Play Store. The link to the video on how to use our AppliedVastu Compass application can be found in this video's description. You can also find the video link in the description explaining how AppliedVastu conducts accurate Vastu analysis 100% online without a physical site visit. You may watch it if you wish. For any kind of consultancy, you can contact us through our website www.appliedvastu.com. To join AppliedVastu's Vastu Shastra course, you can reach out to our team via WhatsApp.